Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I want to do something a little bit different. I just want to share sort of my story with you guys, which is something I've not yet done on the channel. So for those of you who haven't watched any of my videos before, my name is Jason. My company is Jason Carl Morgan. That's the brand, essentially. That's my full name. I'm based in the UK, in South Wales, in fact, and I just want to share with you how it all started for myself. Now, I've been selling online on marketplaces since 2007, so on online marketplaces such as eBay, Amazon, Etsy, and e-commerce platforms such as Shopify, which is what I predominantly use to this day. Over those 17 years, well, in fact, 2025 would actually be my 18th year online. During that time, I've done over 3 million Great British pounds in sales. That works out to be roughly about 175k per year. Obviously, when I first started, I wasn't doing 175k per year. We've had two recessions during that time as well. So we've had dips in sales and we've had boom times as well, where we've done, sort of over 250,000 per year in sales. So from the 3 million in sales that I have done, 1.4 million of that comes directly from eBay. I've sold personally over 100,000 items on eBay. You can go to my eBay store. If you just type in Jason Carl Morgan eBay into Google, and it'll pull up my store, and you can see over 100,000 items sold, which is what I'm showing you there. And you can see there that if you just work out the average sale price, you can pretty much see how that would get to 1.4 million in sales. Our busiest period on eBay was between 2014 and 2019, pre sort of COVID. When we were effectively trading on eBay as an eBay trading assistant, but I'll tell you a little bit more about that later on in the video. So let me just go back to the beginning. Essentially, in 2007, I was working full-time at that point as a television engineer, and effectively I bought I was like 20 years of age, 21, something like that. And I had a driving license because part of my job was a sort of driving job as well. So I was driving a van. That was essentially my first car. But then my first car was an MG TF. If you don't know what an MG TF is, it's basically one of these, right? So MG TF, two-seater sort of sports car, right? So yeah, as you can imagine, young kid, first car, want to buy a sports car, right? So that's what I bought. But little did I know at the time, buying that car was actually going to start my path into online selling. And how did that happen, right? So what happened is I was very interested in, I've always been interested in computers and things. And I was particularly interested in dial kits, so instrument dials, for example. So the MG car that I bought, the MG TF, I think it was a 2004 model that I bought. And at that time when I bought it, I think this was sort of 2007. So there was a newer version of it out, right? So, and the newer version had sort of different dials, and I was interested in creating essentially my own dial kit for to replace the instrument dials in the car that I had. So I literally stripped the car out, the instrument cluster out completely, took the old dials out, and I scanned them, I measured them, put them into Adobe Illustrator, which is a vector artwork design program made by Adobe. I didn't know that at the time, but I managed to figure out that that is how dial kits are sort of made. They're made using vector programs. They're not made with like Photoshop, which is more for images and things. So I managed to work out that you need sort of vector software in order to create instrument dial kits, and I got my hands on Adobe Illustrator, and I essentially proceeded to create instrument dial kits for MG Rover cars, and I then offered and sold these on the MG Rover forums, in fact, for a little while, until I basically got asked by the forum moderators to basically to pay up because they it was sort of seen as advertising, because initially it was a personal project, and then I was sharing the images of what I was actually doing, step-by-step guides on the forums, as you did back in the day. Back then, anyone remember sort of forums when they were quite popular back in the day. So yeah, I was sharing that information. People were then reaching out to me, asking, can you make these dial kits for my car? And then it branched out, and people would say, can you do this model of MG and that model of MG? And then I did. I've done dial kits for MG ZR cars, ZS, ZT cars, as well as a TF, which was the car that I had. And essentially I started then selling these kits on eBay, right? So fast forward to 2010, by that sort of 3 years, this is sort of how long it took things to really sort of get going. I was still working full time. My eBay business had pretty much grown into quite a thriving business. Now the money I was making at this point, which technically was sort of side income, that had literally surpassed what I was making in my day job. So I had a decision to make about what I was going to do. Do I just keep it as a side income, or do I actually take this more seriously and try and grow this? Because I was thinking, well, I can only spend so much of my evenings and weekends on eBay, and if I could spend all my time, then perhaps I would be able to, sort of grow it further and, make a lot more money out of it. So I always wanted to be self-employed, always wanted to work for myself. And so that's pretty much exactly what I decided to do. I decided to hand in my notice at my job, which was a pretty nerve-wracking experience at that time. Luckily, obviously, I had this sort of money coming in from eBay, which enabled me to sort of do that and be in a position to basically know that if I quit my job, I still had sort of money coming in. So we did that, and went and rented an office with my brother. My brother is also self-employed. He's a web developer. And so we basically rented a shared office together, and that is effectively how I became self-employed. So when I went full-time, I immediately needed to branch out into other things. I'll tell you who this guy is here now in a moment. So I started selling things like stickers and sort of accessories, taxis holders and badges and things like that, right? And because I essentially purchased at this time a die cutting machine, so the dial kits I was still selling, but they didn't really sell in large quantities. And the good thing about them, they were quite average order value, but they were very, very time consuming to make and to fit. And some people weren't comfortable with fitting their own, so people used to literally take their dial clusters apart and actually send me them in the post, and I used to fit the dials, send them back. So it was quite a time consuming experience, and it was going to be difficult to kind of scale that. So I went into things like stickers and badges and things like that. So I did that. That essentially established the JCM Graphics brand, under which I sold this stuff on eBay. And some of these products we actually still sell to this day right now in our dropship program, which is a reselling program where we allow effectively other people to sell our products. So I continued this into about 2014, and by this time we had quite a sizable office, over 2,000 square feet, and we had about sort of 10 full-time employees at that time. And in 2014 we hit quite a significant slump in sales, and I believe this was brought on because of the increased competition that was coming into the online marketplace space. When I first started in 2007, it was still pretty much new at that time. Even though Amazon and eBay had been around since sort of like 1999, it wasn't really the known thing that you could make this extra income on eBay, Amazon, Etsy, and things like that. Etsy was still really, really new at that time. So yeah, by about 2014, you could really see, sort of sales starting to sort of slump because of the influx of sellers which were coming onto these platforms. And these days it's even more competition and even fierce than it ever has before. So because of this slump, we had to make a big decision, right? I had to figure out what to do, because I had this office, I had all these staff, and I needed to figure out what to do in order to overcome this. And this was really one of the big decisions that I made in business to date. So effectively, what I decided to do was to split the business in two, okay? And I'll explain what I mean. So I split off because by this time we were sort of operating as a limited company, and then we sort of split the business off into, so the graphics business become JCM Graphics, and then we also launched a eBay trading assistant business, which I will explain exactly what that is for anyone that doesn't really know what that is. At that same time, when we split off the graphics business, which is sort of the stickers and stuff, we actually launched basically, which is what is now our dropshipping program. That was called the merchant program for JCM Graphics, which is when this started in 2014. This is when we first started to allow other people to resell the products that we were making. So we had quite a sizable catalog of products, and I allowed other sellers, because there was influx of people coming into online marketplaces who were interested in things like dropshipping, and because we were manufacturing these products, I was of the opinion that if I could get some of these sellers to resell our products, then we would reach a wider audience, despite the fact that the marketplace, eBay, Amazon and things were becoming flooded with new sellers. So that's what we decided to do. That worked extremely well, which is great. And in fact, this is the actual ad that we ran on YouTube. This guy is some American guy that I found on Fiverr, and he created this video, which you can go and watch here on my website. And this video was essentially a sales pitch for the merchant program that we were offering from 2014 onwards, essentially trying to attract people interested in making money online, and who wanted to resell our products and make money out of dropshipping. So we still do this to this day, but this is essentially where it all started. Now, on the other side of that, now we had two businesses. So we had the graphics business with the merchant program. So that was kind of like a wholesale dropship business going on the side there. So we had obviously all the staff members. So we split the staff. Some of the staff went to work on that business, and some of the staff went to work on this new trading assistant business. So what is an eBay trading assistant? Well, some of you might know that years ago, eBay used to promote eBay trading assistants. Now, eBay trading assistants are essentially individuals eBay sellers who are effectively experienced in eBay selling, and eBay had a trading assistant directory where you could list yourself as an eBay trading assistant, and you could offer to sell items for other people on consignment. That's what an eBay trading assistant does. So there were very few people doing it. It was more popular in the USA than it was in the UK at that time, and even to this date right now, it's still really in popular. Now eBay no longer actually sort of support the trading assistant program per se. These days, they've removed the trading assistant directory. There are still eBay trading assistants out there. We are unfortunately not an eBay trading assistant anymore. I'll explain exactly how and why that happened. Thanks, COVID. But yeah, so effectively, we started this eBay trading assistant business, and that literally just took off like a rocket straight away. And by 2017, so we launched as an eBay trading assistant at some point in 2014. We actually went on to we were the largest operating eBay trading assistant in the UK at that time by volume. We had more than 30,000 items in stock that we were selling on consignment for both individuals and businesses right across the UK, and we were working with some pretty large charities as well. Most of what we were selling was used clothing. That's really what we were specializing in. That was the demand really was there. This is kind of what the likes of Vinted and Depop is built from the back of. Is this demand, this influx in people wanting to sell used clothing online. This is way before Vinted or Depop even existed. We were selling used clothing for other people essentially first. Now obviously you've got the likes of these sort of secondary marketplaces, which kind of sort of makes it now easier for individuals to sort of sell their own clothing, which makes the need of a trading assistant as a service sort of less desirable. But you can still operate an eBay trading assistant business, just probably doesn't work for cheaper items anymore. And because we were selling clothing, we were selling sort of a lot of cheap sort of items for people that would send in just general sort of brands. And this is how we managed to effectively sell, over 100,000 items on eBay. So the consignment model of an eBay trading assistant, whilst it was, I would say, pretty successful in its own right, it is an extremely laborious business to run. The volume of items that you have to be processing, like I said, we had multiple members of staff. We had listers, we had pickers, we had packers, and our listing guys, for example, we had to put them on targets. They were minimum targets of 100 to 120 listings per day each. We had to incentivize them with sort of things like sort of monetary incentives, or being able to sort of go home early after they hit their targets. That kind of worked pretty well, in fairness, just to try and get those numbers, because if you just needed to hit that quantity of numbers, you knew you would sell X percentage of conversion on eBay per day. You were pretty much listing and selling the same items. We had so much stock coming in from our clients, we were literally inundated. We had a backlog of like 6 or 7 weeks. It was absolutely ridiculous how much stock we had coming in. And it was just extremely difficult just to try and keep up, just to process it. So crazy busy business to get into, and really, really scalable, but very, very laborious. And yeah, so slim margins, quite complex logistics in terms of storage. And we had obviously quite a wide acceptance criteria. We essentially were accepting anything. So in the beginning, even though we were getting a lot of clothes from people would literally send us everything. We would get games, we would get CDs, DVDs. Right in the beginning, we were getting people dropping off washing machines and fridges. We soon sort of stopped that. That was ridiculous trying to sell that sort of stuff. So we went much smaller stuff. So it ended up being, you could only send us stuff that fit in a box, but people would then send us like ornaments and china and stuff, and it was like that sort of stuff. It was really difficult to hit targets, listing targets in a day with that sort of stuff, because some stuff did need research in order to actually figure out what it was worth, even though the client entrusted us to to get the most value for the items. If the items weren't stuff that that we were selling over and over again, we didn't have historical pricing on those items. Things like eBay therapy just didn't exist back then. So we had to sort of develop our own pricing system on a way to be able to sort of list things officially, so we could get that volume online. So that is essentially an eBay trading assistant business. We ran that business up until 2019. Basically, we effectively closed that business down in 2020 as a result of COVID-19. We closed the office. We unfortunately had to let go of the staff that we had, because by that time we had basically multiple members of staff working for the eBay trading assistant business. But COVID came in, so there's a couple of things that happened really. So you had COVID come in. That obviously shut everything down. Obviously, online businesses were still trading, so you would think, okay, so you would probably be okay. But the problem that hit us in particular with that business is that when the shutdown came, everyone was allowed to stay at home. And because everyone was allowed to stay at home, everyone had an abundance of time on their hands. And when you have an abundance of time in your hands, you try and figure out ways to make money. This is a natural thing that people do. And what people decided to do was sell their own stuff. So you had this massive influx of sellers onto marketplace. You had onto like eBay. You had then new marketplaces coming online then. So you had sort of the likes of Vinted starting to come online, Depop starting to come online, a load of other ones in the US as well. And basically you had this just influx of people wanting to sell their own items. So there wasn't really that much call for a service as a trading assistant that would sell stuff for other people. So the influx of merchandise coming into the platforms effectively drove the average order values effectively into the ground. Just go and look at the prices that people sell stuff on Vinted for. It is essentially dirt cheap with a fee-free marketplace. Even eBay are fee-free now as well. So it would be even more difficult to try and set up the business that we had now in the same way. I just don't, in the same form, I just do not think it would work. So essentially, yeah, that's what happened as a result really of COVID. But in sort of 2018, 2019, we were selling on average about 80 to 100 items per day, 7 days a week. It was absolutely relentless, literally relentless. We were just it is a crazy amount of orders to be dealing with. Just the logistics and the storage of that is pretty mad. But one cool thing that we did do later on is we introduced the instant buy offers, right? So the instant buy offers was an idea that I had sort of several years earlier, but never really implemented until the sort of last year or so of being an eBay trading assistant. And what we effectively decided to do was people would send in their stuff to us, and then we would essentially give them an offer price, because we've been selling this stuff for so many years previously. We'd actually built up an idea of what items would sell for, and we used to store all this data in a database essentially. And so when new items would come in, we were able to basically sort of query this database and figure out an average price what items would sell for. And then what we would do is we would give people an offer price for the box of items that they send into us. And this was our instant buy offers. And these proved to be very, very popular with our clients. Many of our clients used to accept the instant buy offers. It was, if you worked out what we would pay the client for the items individually, people it was quite obvious people just wanted quick cash. They didn't want to sit around and wait for you to sell their items in order to get paid. So the instant buy offers, people were willing to take less money for their items, and that just allowed us to then sort of sit on those items and just make more profit overall. So the instant buy is a fantastic option, and I'll explain to you a little later on in this video exactly what that has led to. So this explains what happened with COVID. So we sort of downsized the eBay operations. In 2020, we effectively stopped becoming an eBay trading assistant whatsoever. So what do we do then? So we basically, we had these two businesses. We had the JCM Graphics, so that was fine. That was sort of doing well on eBay, on Amazon, on Etsy, and things like that. That's fine, but we had to let go of these staff who were obviously working in the trading assistant business. So what we actually did is we got rid of the office, got rid of the staff, and me and my now fiance Kaylee, we essentially we bought a new home in 2019, and we essentially converted the garage to a home office. The garage is pretty sizable. There's lots of room in there. The house is pretty big. There's lots of room in the house. And so what we did is we actually converted the downstairs garage into an office, and we moved the effective graphics business home, as well as launching our first Shopify brand. So what do we do? In 2019, right at the end of 2019, when we could see the eBay trading assistant business was sort of in decline, and that wasn't going to be around for much longer, we essentially launched Winster Creations, which is, if you can see that up on the wall there, that is the trademark registration for Winster Creations. So it's a proper registered trademark, and we launched that brand right at the end of 2019. And up until this point, in my own experience, I had predominantly always focused all of my efforts on marketplaces, so things like eBay, Amazon, and Etsy predominantly, right? So going over to Shopify with the Winster Creations brand, and the Winster Creations brand was a completely new product line, which was things like it was more printing, so which is wall art, stuff like that. We do stickers with Winster Creations as well, but mainly more so printing. So tons and tons of wall art, basically stuff like this, right? So we decided against launching all of this new product range on marketplaces, and one of the reasons why I decided against this was because of how saturated I believed marketplaces were becoming. So what I decided to do instead was to launch this new brand completely off of marketplaces, standalone with Shopify, and then allow our reseller business, our reseller network, our dropshipping program to actually sell the Winster Creations range of products on marketplaces through that program. So our resellers would focus on marketplaces for the Winster Creations stuff, while we would actually start brand building, with Shopify and Instagram. So we essentially opted to launch Winster Creations completely 100% solely on Shopify. But for anyone who knows Shopify is not a marketplace, and Shopify does not have a customer base. So when you launch on Shopify, you are launching to a zero audience, right? So don't expect to get many sales. So what we did is we worked day and night, readying the new store, creating a fantastic product range. I think we launched with more than 1,000 products on day one, and we actually launched that store within just 2 weeks. So it was me, Kaylee, my fiance, and one of the staff members that we basically had at the office. She actually came to work at the house. So it was just the three of us at them when we launched Winster Creations, and we essentially managed to get a product range of more than 1,000 products And between myself, Kaylee, and the employee that we had at that time, we managed to sort of build a pretty sizable catalogue, which is now some 2,500 products. And in the first year of Winster Creations, we actually managed to do £46,000 in sales. And we did that completely organically with zero paid advertising spend whatsoever. So how we did this is we did this through Instagram, completely 100% through Instagram. Some traffic came through Facebook, but it was predominantly Instagram, and we did it completely 100% organically. We grew a social media following over 18,000 followers, which, you know, for the best part, we still have, I think we're on like 17.4 now, something like that. So it was pretty simple, really, but it was actually really effective, as you can see, just basically on the sales numbers. And what we actually did is we built a brand ambassador program. So if you don't know what a brand ambassador is, it's essentially somebody else, an individual, who would promote your brand to their audience. And we decided to do this on quite a large scale, where we would reach out to these individuals via DM on Instagram. And, you know, we would look at their accounts. Well, I keep saying we, but Kaylee did a lot of this. She would reach out to accounts that she thought were related to the home decor niche that we were sort of selling in. And she would find individuals that she thought had audiences who would sort of resonate with the type of products that we were selling. And what we did is we built up this team of brand reps, and these individuals, we would supply them with sort of gifted products. We would give them bonuses, such as, you know, we'd give them commissions. We would give them discounts that they could share with, you know, with their family, their friends, and their audience. And these individuals drove all of the traffic for Winster Creations with zero paid ads whatsoever. And that is just the most amazing achievement, I think, to date that we've managed to do, is the fact that we managed to create an organic traffic system, which essentially just required no paid advertising whatsoever. So instead of just wasting tons of money on ads, we would just pump that into gifted product that we would send to influencers, and they would promote our products for us, and that is what drove the traffic and sales for us. And we've now done over 200,000 in sales on the Winster Creations store to this date. So, but if you remember, I've talked about the merchant program that we had. So this is the drop shipping program, which we set up back in 2014, which you've seen that very, very terrible ad for at the top. That program allowed other people to sell our products. By this time, we'd renamed that. That became sort of our retailer program. Now it's our sort of just drop shipping program. This was pretty well established now by this time, by sort of 2020. And we had a team of resellers, which we still do. They still sell our products on marketplaces right now. You yourself, if you are a reseller, you can actually become part of this team. You can resell our products. You're more than welcome to. In that same year, in 2020, we actually made over £53,000 in wholesale sales as a result of these individuals who sold our products on marketplaces. And bearing in mind, that is the wholesale price. So the retail value of that price is at least in sort of £120,000 to £130,000 in sales, because obviously they have their slice of the pie as well. So absolutely pretty amazing, the fact that we managed to do both of that in that same year. So I would say 2020 was a pretty good year for us, in fairness, and we did absolutely smash it in 2020. So what are we doing now? So right now we still have our Winster Creations brand. You can go to winstercreations.com. that website is still going, and we still have our reseller program where you can resell our products on eBay, Amazon, Etsy, or via your own Shopify store as well. But since then, we have diversified into launching a number of programs which are now aimed at, given the experience that I've had, obviously the many years I've been in this, we're now looking at helping other individuals, specifically our resellers, helping them to make money online in various different ways, but it's still primarily around, the resale of our products. So we've sort of built an ecosystem which is sort of completely, has no outsiders, no third party involvement whatsoever. Every product that we make is manufactured and supplied by us. So we've essentially built a sort of money making ecosystem that anyone can essentially be a part of. So here's what we've been doing in the last couple of years. So in 2021, as a result of obviously COVID-19 and the loss of the train assistant business, where that sort of went down the pan, we launched, off the back of that, a couple of years later, we launched sellmyclothes.co.uk, which is still active right now. This essentially is kind of what we were doing with the instant buy offers. So this is kind of like an instant buy program. It is a service that allows individuals to send their clothes into us, clothes which match certain criteria that we have designed, and we will essentially pay them a guaranteed £1 per item, and you can send in up to 50 items per time, per box, and we pay for the cost of the box, we pay for the shipping label and so on. And that's what we do with Sell My Clothes. That works pretty well for us, and then we actually sell those items both on eBay. We allow our resellers to sell those items on platforms like eBay and Depop as well, and we actually sell these items on Vinted ourselves with what we have now is a Vinted Pro account. So that's what we're doing with Sell My Clothes. That is a pretty cool service. You can go and check that out if you want. Just head over to sellmyclothes.co.uk and you can see that program, how that is actually set up. So in 2021, we also launched our FBA enrollment program. This provides essentially wholesale access to our entire catalog to Amazon sellers. This program operates in conjunction with our FBA profit share program, and that in itself allows, between those two programs, so you've got the FBA enrollment program is a wholesale program that allows people who sell on Amazon to effectively buy our products in bulk at wholesale and have us actually prepare and ship that stock direct to Amazon fulfillment centers for them. And then we have our passive FBA profit share program, which is a little bit different, which allows people who are not Amazon sellers, people who are interested in making a passive income online. You don't need any selling account. You don't need an Amazon seller account to be a part of that. What it allows you to do, it allows you to invest in having us put new lines of product into Amazon's FBA program. So what happens is you invest in our product range, and we then enroll the stock that you buy into Amazon's FBA program, and we just pay you a guaranteed profit share every time that inventory sells. And then you can top up your inventory and you get exclusive ownership over the SKUs and things like that. So that's a fantastic program that works extremely well, and I'm certainly pretty happy with that program. One of our first individuals was actually a reseller who resells some of our products. Obviously they had first access into the program, so they sort of jumped on some of our best-selling SKUs, and they've actually we've in the first 18 months of operation, we actually paid them over £12,000 in passive income from that profit share program. So what else are we doing? Well, in 2022 we launched our pre-loved women's wear drop shipping program. So this is essentially linked in with Sell My Clothes. So with Sell My Clothes, we get a ton of clothing sent to us. We obviously buy all that clothing, so it becomes our stocks. We pay the client immediately, And then what we do is we actually make all the product available for resellers to actually actively sell on platforms such as eBay and Depop. Used to be able to sell on Vinted, but now with Vinted Pro, because we now sell on Vinted Pro, we've basically we had to tell our resellers that you're not allowed to sell on Vinted Pro because Vinted have this rule where you can't use the same images twice. So we are now the exclusive seller on Vinted Pro ourselves, but you are still completely free to resell our clothing on marketplaces like eBay and Depop, and it's just another way for you to sort of make, easy money online. You sell the product, we handle all the fulfillment. We store the clothing, and we just fulfill your customer orders directly. So that's what we do with our Pre-Loved Women's Wear dropshipping program. And then in 2023, we launched our Shopify Launch Accelerator, which if you've watched any of my videos, you would know something about because I've talked about this program a ton. Essentially, that program, in a nutshell, leans on the back of what we've managed to achieve with Shopify ourselves and building this brand ambassador program. We essentially replicate that for you. So what we do is we build you your own store, and we replicate the process of building you a brand rep team who will promote your basically products to their audiences, and we actually build and grow you a brand. That's what we do with our Shopify Launch Accelerator. You can go and check that out in the last video that I posted. In 2024, so last year, we launched our Print on Demand Accelerator. This is a very unique program, which is super, super cool. Us being a print supplier, we are able to obviously offer print on demand services for things like mugs and wall art. And what we have done with our print on demand program is we help you launch your first Etsy store, and we actually supply all of your print on demand product completely for free until you reach your first £1,000 in sales, helping you essentially establish your Etsy store, get reviews, get regular sales. And that's how we sort of help establish new print on demand sellers on Etsy. That program again has worked tremendously well for the individuals who have come on board, and I've also made videos on that as well. You can go and check out some of the videos about our POD program on the channel. And also last year, a new venture was to introduce actual Shopify coaching. So this is a high level program where I basically offer to teach individuals one-on-one how to actually build a brand ambassador program, how to market a Shopify store with zero paid advertising, and essentially how to copy exactly what we did with our own brand and with the stores that we're now building through our Shopify Launch Accelerator. If you want to learn how to do that, you can learn how to do that in that program one-on-one with myself. Just head over to the Shopify Marketing Coaching Program, and I'll be more than happy to book in a call and we can discuss what your requirements are. Anyway, so there you are, guys. That is pretty much my story. That's what I've been up to in the last 17 years. If you are interested in working online, making money online, and you would like to work with me and you would like my help, then just head over to my website. There's a link in the description down below. You can book a call myself. We can have a chat about what you're trying to achieve, and then hopefully we can get you enrolled in one of our programs and actually help you making your first sort of £1,000 a month online and beyond. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to learn more about what we're doing, subscribe to the channel. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. I'm going to wrap this one up there, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Anyway, guys, I'll catch you later. See ya.